Oh, sorry.
I have to remind other people that we're awesome. Don't worry about that.
That's what we're here to do. So I'll just do the intro, all right? I'm going to do the intro, and then we're going to announce the theme song, and then we're going to come back, and then we're going to be, like, on it. You know what I mean? In like Flint. So, all right, here we go. Hey, everybody, my name is Jason, and I'm here with another album release party. This one is for Artphixia, right after this theme song. All right, everybody, I'm back with Artphixia, and we are here to talk about their new album, Cererbral. Is that correct? I'm with Josh, and I'm with Jacob. You might know them from the Unsigned Countdown podcast, but today they're here to talk about their album, and what an album it is. Hey, guys, thanks for joining me.
How you doing, dude?
I'm doing good. Man? Nice. Do I know you? You sound so familiar.
Oh, I
know. This is a great studio you've got, by the way.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It smells like Andy.
Well, it's a good job Andy isn't here and Josh is instead, isn't it?
That's awesome. So you guys came up with a new album. It's got 11 tracks on it. We're going to be featuring 5 of them today. And we're just going to get a little information so people can relate more to the album. You're going to tell us what it's about and everything. But Andy, how did the album itself come about?
It was a progression from Sickest, really, previous band. Because, well, not previous, but just one just put aside just for now. Because it was a little bit too time-consuming for what I and the needs of other people needed to do to get stuff done a little bit quicker. So I basically took out the guitars from Sickest and put synths in. So it's much easier and quicker for me to do, and it's just as fun, just as amazing, and you know, that's why really. It is a part of me, and I do love it and that, but it is sort of born from Sickest.
All right, Jacob, why join this project?
Well, I joined the project because I thought it was really interesting sound. It was really heavy, but it still had this, electronic drive to it, and you kind of create these landscapes that you're really not going to hear with your traditional metal band, with the guitar, bass, and drums. It was quite the journey painting on the canvas.
I had a gun to your head as well, didn't I? It was a big one as well.
And how did you come up with Artphixia? The name.
Do you know what? It just popped into my head. It literally, I didn't even have to think about it. I didn't even have to think about it. But the problem,
perfect.
Yeah, I mean the problem was, and I put it in, and no one else has had, put it in Google as you do. No one else had it, so I was like, okay, I'll have that. But there's another industrial band called Artphixia, and I was a little bit kicking myself that I didn't have something that was totally unlike anything.
Right.
But other than that, yeah, it just popped into my head really. So yeah, right. And I thought the art bit, it was a little bit. With the creative edge to it and whatnot, so yeah.
All right. You just nailed rule number 1 of making a band. Google the name you want to use.
Yeah, of course, of course. And number 2,
you don't come up with a name like Cloud.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
It was also the sheer fact that myself, Jacob and I had worked together. For a long time previous, so
really?
he's a good guy, yeah. Well, in Sickest, so it was for me it was a simple transition of let's get Jacob in.
It sounds really good together. I think the first song we're going to listen to before we start talking is called "Timeless Destiny." Is that the name of it?
It is.
All right, "Timeless Destiny." Wait. The first song we're going to talk about is "Timeless Destiny." All right. So Andy, tell me about "Timeless Destiny." How did that come from conception?
It was a "Timeless Destiny." It was. I'm trying to recall now what that was about because I do have every track I write has to have a story.
It does.
And "Timeless Destiny." I think that was Oh, Jesus Christ. Did we have to do this one first, Jason?
I can tell you what the lyrics are about.
Andy, you wrote the list.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob, what were the kind of like, what was the gist of it?
Well,
wait a minute, Jacob, before you start. Hey, Jacob, why don't you tell me what Timeless Destiny is all about?
Timeless Destiny. Well, it's exploring death and how everyone shares one timeless destiny and the many ways that we can die.
There you go.
All right.
So
that's awesome.
I suppose it was more definitely about death. I think it was the fact that we're all, I don't know, suppose if there is a heaven, that we're all destined for it.
Eventually.
Because it was, I suppose it was a sort of, what's the cut-off point for, going to hell? What's the, what? So, I don't know. That's kind of what it's about, death. Yeah.
Okay. And so did the song start with the beat, guitar, synth?
I always start with it never starts with the beat, because like all my beats are pretty, it's industrial, so it's all like doof, 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 with a bit of obviously with the death metal element, with the kicks and that, doing the little triplets and whatnot here and there, which I think that's what pulls us away a little bit from the industrial side of things and makes it interesting as far as the percussions go. I always start with a synth sample, or to create something, or that's where the inspiration comes from, and it's like, oh, that sounds awesome, and then you just work it out from there.
Okay. And the lyrics, did you have the lyrics set, or did you just let Jacob come up with his own?
No, if you're working in a band or whatever, you have to let the professional do what they know about. So I wouldn't get involved in the lyrics, even though I do write things like that. I would never get involved in the lyrics, or how, because the words don't fit into what the singer's perception of how it should go is. So I'll just let Jacob take care of all that.
No, exactly. If he were to give me lyrics, it probably wouldn't work as well, because I'm singing it my way, I'm phrasing it my way. I may drag a word out, or he may shorten it. So it definitely works better for me writing my own lyrics.
Okay, I gotcha. I think I asked that question wrong, but I'll ask it right on the next song. But anyway, is this one of your favorites, Jacob, or is there other songs on this that you liked better?
I like every one of the songs in different ways. We actually, Andy and I had this conversation every time we come up with a new song. It's like, this one's really good, and then we go back to the other one. It's like, yeah, but this one's really good too. And it's hard to figure out, really what you like the best, because it really depends on the mood you're in, because they're all about something a little bit different.
Every track should be written as a single. Simple as that in an album.
Of course. We talk about that all the time. In fact, we just did on the latest episode of Unsigned Countdown Podcast. Well, actually, we talked about it like a month ago, but I just put it in the episode today!
Yay!
I just got to listen to that episode. Good episode. Well, collage there.
It's a really good episode. That's what we're kind of going for. But we're talking about you right now.
Yeah.
You.
Us.
You. And there's a whole bunch of, there's 11 tracks on this. I asked Andy and Jacob to pick out 5 because we only really have an hour, but we're going to put a link to the whole album when it's released on the 28th, July 28th. Is that correct? That's when it's going to be released?
That is correct.
It's on pre-order now, but yeah, the full shebang, if you want to buy everything that day, it'll be on the 28th from then onwards, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. So we're going to put the pre-order link under this track as soon as the podcast comes out, and the podcast should be coming out right before the album release, so the timing will be perfect.
Awesome. Awesome.
It is awesome. I'm really proud of you guys.
Well, I'm obviously I'm proud of everything, but I'm also got much love for you for doing all this and that, so.
Oh,
thank you very much.
I always love having my ego stroked.
Is that what you call it?
Well, it's either that or ass kissing. Nephilim offered to give me a hand job, but they're in North Carolina, and I didn't want to travel so far. And you're in England. I'm not stretching that much.
Hey, if you pay for the travel, it's just a holiday for me. I'm more than. Oh no, the actual point of why I'm going there. No, forget it.
It sounds like he's offering, doesn't it, fans?
No, I was thinking about I could have a vacation there, but I thought, no, there's got to be a hand job in it somewhere. Fuck that.
Yeah, but when you're saying you want a vacation hand job, you're not really talking about giving.
No.
All right, speaking of holiday hand jobs, we're going to move on to necromechanical dimensions.
Yes.
And we're back from necromechanical dimensions. I'm not quite sure if I can ask Andy about this because he doesn't know much about the list, and the guy makes 800 songs a week, but I'm going to try. Andy,
So you can't...
how'd you come up with the name of the song?
Necromechanical Dimensions. It's a Geiger influenced track. I can't get away from ever doing Geiger influenced music.
Of course.
It was a part of Sickest, and because Sickest is sort of like, part of Artphixia, I have to do everything I do, I suppose, with the music on the industrial side, is always got that HR Geiger art influence. It always will do. But
It always will.
yeah, but you can get you can't get bogged down in a certain how can you say, genre, I suppose, or something, or an inspiration, because you can dry up with ideas, and other people aren't into it as you are. So if you have their element in with your element, then it becomes something different. So that's good. That's good.
Wait, explain your element a minute. You said you always have that influence, but explain that influence.
It's something that you can't teach it anyone, and it might be something that no one else really has, but it's I don't know. I suppose it's a direction that you just take, and for me, it's not necessarily something dark as far as the synths or anything goes that will take me to writing these kind of compositions. If it's got lightness in there with the dark, even better for me, because I've always wanted this. I've always wanted a female, like this sort of light in the dark with my music. I've always wanted that, and I suppose because I can't get that, because I have tried, but others can't see a vision or whatever. So I've had to take that female element and put it into a synth or something like that. Do you understand? No, sort of like that softer feel.
You there, Jason?
Hello. I think something's happened.
Yeah.
I think it's happened what happened last time, so we might have to come off and go back in again. Unless he's had an emergency or something, bro.
That's definitely strange.
Happened last time though, didn't it?
Yeah. And there he goes.
Yeah. Oh. Jason is at join the spirit ball.
Right? I totally get what you're saying there.
Jason, I don't mind going through that again.
What? No, you pretty much were. You were nailing it when I left. So, Jacob, if you were on the outside looking in at your music, how would you describe it?
Wow. Well, it's definitely theatrical.
Okay.
It's an adrenaline rush.
Okay.
There's a lot of emotion, and the emotion is conveyed both in the music and definitely in the vocal. It has a lot of light and a lot of dark. There are some moments where all of the heaviness just kind of fades away, and there's this, like he says, this light and the darkness moment, and then the darkness creeps back in, at least in most of these tracks.
It's beautiful. That's just how I would explain it too.
I think what's that? We've got a track called Dark Light. I think that one is probably the most Artphixia track, because it's just it's got a start of a very somber piano. It is dark, but it is very moody. But then it just snaps into that. The last third just snaps into this crazy industrial, I don't know, cacophony of like Terminator-ness. It's crazy, that track is. I can't believe I even wrote it. I wanted to get a female on there to sing, but I couldn't get that. So. But I've started work. I'm working with a girl called Sinful Divinity with Sickest. So hopefully that'll.
Yeah, she's pretty good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm going to finish the EP off of that, and then go from there with Sickest. Because things are picking up a little bit time-wise, so,
Okay, I got you. That's what's known as a tangent, people in Radio Land.
So, necromechanical dimensions. What's that track about?
I threw you off when I went to the bathroom, didn't I? It's okay. So, Jacob, what are the lyrics about in this song?
Well, the lyrics of this song are taking all of the elements of Sickest, which is, as Andy said, almost exclusively Geiger themed in lyrics, as well as the overall feel of the album. And I try to put it all together in one song, because I was only given one track, that I could really do that with. So it's basically telling the story of the Necronomicon and the world that Geiger created, but all in one piece. And it's about their dimension, their world, the way they interact with us. It's terrifying. You'd have to actually read the lyrics. I won't say them here.
I was scared when I listened to it.
Good.
So you want us to be surprised by these lyrics, then? You're not going to tell us any of them?
No.
No, none of them. Why did we bring you on? Anyway, we'll move on to song 3. I'm just giving you a hard time, Jacob. You know I love you. Is there anything else you guys wanted to add to this song?
No.
Anything else you wanted to tell us about this song?
Perfect. What Jacob said. It's bang on.
Beautiful. I loved it. Then the next song that you wanted us to play, that I wanted to play, that we made a consensus on the songs that we wanted to play. I don't even know how to say it. Is it Aeon Void?
Aeon Void.
Aeon Void.
Aeon. Yeah.
Aeon Void.
Aeon it's a measure of time. It's like but in space. It's a yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Fast.
That's all that is. Aeon Void. Just this massive void that we have to cross because I believe that there's another universe somewhere else.
There is another universe, and is this what this song's about?
It's about the gap between this universe and the other universe.
Ah.
Aeon Void.
I love that gap.
I do. I've been in some as well.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you, and I can ask you on this song. When Jacob has the lyrics and he's going to write a song, do you give him a concept to start with, or do you just go, here's the music, boom, what's it? I'll get the
I
title.
absolutely give Jacob a concept. Absolutely, and if he veers off it, he's a dead man.
Yeah, because he told me you were a bit of a ball buster.
No, of course Jacob's got his freedom. That's what we spoke about this.
Right.
Because when I'd suggested that like we put Sickest aside until I'd got more time to write everything for her because she's a real time consumer. Yeah, it is like being married just with that band. Serious. Oh, she my last fiance. I suppose I could say that. I've not been a fiance to loads of people. But the girlfriend that I had, that was she always called Sickest the mistress. So But I discussed this with Jacob. Well, he discussed it with me because he was like, "Look, dude, we can't just keep going on about the great man." So I was like, "Yeah, of course." And Jacob wanted to do his thing as well, and I'm not going to stifle someone that creative. So yeah, so I knew he was always going to do a good job, and he's just absolutely smashed it. So
That's beautiful.
yeah, he is.
And Jacob, without giving any of the lyrics away, was the title of the song derived from the lyrics, or did he have the title ready for you, and then is that part of the concept that he gave you?
He gives me the songs with title, and I use the title as inspiration. He didn't actually tell me any of what he told you there. About that vastness.
Do you know what? Do you know what? This is probably the one song I didn't give you a thing on. Story.
What I basically interpreted it as was I did go into space, and I had it as that almost purgatory type space. That space where you're trapped and you can't access what you need, and you're lost within your emotions, you're lost within your rage, and how all you have in this space is your rage and your feelings.
That'll work.
That's beautiful. And how do you start developing lyrics from just air?
Actually, it starts with the beat. You know, I take the song and I throw it in and I listen to it and I have the title and I'm like, okay, so this is kind of how I'm interpreting an Eon Void, and I'm just kind of hearing out how it's laying out, and it'll just pop in my head a lot of times. I put myself in character. It's very much like acting. You know, what would I do in this setting? And then the lyrics kind of come to me.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, I don't even write things down actually until after the fact. 90% of the time, I just kind of figure it out and then go back through and type up my lyrics.
Do you have a stockpile of just lyrics? Do you ever just write lyrics without music?
Not usually. Every time I do, it doesn't really end up in anything, because, like I said, I fit my vocals within the song. So if I write something ahead of time, I have to now find that song that has the perfect spacing and phrasing for what I have in my head for this. So usually, unless I actually write the music that goes with the lyrics, I don't use those lyrics.
It'd be pretty much poetry, wouldn't it, without the music?
Yeah.
A lot of lyrics.
I guess.
Yeah, and I've done that. I've written poems, but those poems generally, what I'll end up doing is gutting them. You know, I'll use a couple of phrases that are catchy, that fit within the song. Right. Then I end up kicking myself later because it's like, well, but I just ruined the rest of that. So I tend to write everything fresh on the fly. You know.
I gotcha. I take pieces and parts from songs, and then I end up duplicating things and throwing them away. So I get what you're saying. That was a question more for me than it was for our fans.
That was an awesome question.
It was an awesome question. Of course it was. And I love the song title, guys. I love the album. It's a great album.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
And you don't. You're saying you kind of float between genres, right? Because I've heard there's like punk. You're not this, but I've heard there's like punk. There's like post-punk. There's horror punk. I'd put you at like a horror theatrical sort of industrial sort of thing. Am I close?
Yeah, it's industrial horror. That's how you could pigeonhole it. But you know, I don't really. I'm not against pigeonholing and things like that. I don't. You know, I just don't give a shit about it. You know, if that's what you want to call it, that's what you want to call it. But it's very cinematic. You know, it's very high octane.
Yes.
It's very high octane, and it's
like a roller coaster.
It is. Yes. It's mental, and the way that I've positioned the tracks as well, it just works. The way Deadlight, the track comes in, you just don't expect it because you're just expecting all this, you know, barrage of like awesomeness, and then this like just beautiful piece comes in, but it's really dark.
Yeah. I always imagine that if I filled my stomach with ball bearings and then I turned a carousel up to 190 miles an hour and then got on it, that's what your music would be like.
It's quite well. I want you to sit back and just shut your eyes, do whatever you do, and hopefully have a little bit of cinema in. You know, I always say it's like a movie for your mind. You know, each track. So
it is exactly.
You just make scenarios in your head and just listen to it and enjoy it.
Awesome.
But it'd be brilliant live, which we're trying to work on now. So.
Okay, I love it. And we're gonna play another song, and it's called "I Am Human." And that was I Am Human, and we're back on the Unsigned Countdown. Album release for Artphixia. Their new album, Cererbral, is coming out July 28th, and we're going to be posting the links in the description portion of the podcast when the podcast comes out. And you can find that podcast, of course, on soundcloud.com/jarcodes, facebook.com/jarcodes, or iTunes at Unsigned Countdown Podcast. Anyway, we're talking about I Am Human, and it's one of my favorite songs. I actually really like that. Yeah.
Jacob's amazing on it, don't you think? I just love it. I am human. It's just amazing. Yeah. I'll probably get off on that track.
What? Well, tell me about it. What got you off on that track?
Just the whole thing. I don't know. Every track's like, you know. I don't know. I love my music, and I don't know if like I don't know if see, I've always said you should be a fan of yourself first, and if you love what you're doing, then like hopefully other people will if you know what you're going on about.
I gotcha.
I Am Human. That again. That was about how AI becomes self. I think this was the track where it's about where AI becomes actually self-aware. Do you know what? That's what. I just remembered what the other track was about. It doesn't matter now. It's about how an AI becomes aware.
That's Matriculation of a Soul.
It was, wasn't it? Is that coming next? Or have we had that? That's coming next, isn't it? We've got Mechanism of a Soul coming on this track. It is, isn't it?
Yeah, we
do.
On the list.
Yeah, cool. We'll talk about that one after then. Yeah, again, I Am Human. It's just about that. That is about AI. I think it's that simple.
Right.
Just about AI.
You know,
just about artificial intelligence.
You're like an amazing genius trying to explain the color blue. It's like so obvious to you. You know that?
Well, you know. I can say more about the next track.
Right? No, I gotcha. I'm just explaining to our fans. Andy is like such a perfectionist when it comes to his music, and he is just like he's like Transcendence. If you ever saw that movie, he goes into his songs. So it's what's deadly obvious to him might not be to you until you hear the music. But once you start hearing the music, you're gonna understand why he's so passionate about it. It's just so intricate and so delicate and so abrasive all at the same time. So I get why you love the music, and I know why you're having a hard time explaining it, because you are making it from a single beat.
I'm making the music I want to hear, not for anybody else.
But you put your life into it.
You know, and if other people like it, then brilliant. But it really is just from. Excuse me, it is just for me. That's why I love
it. But that's why you're having a hard time explaining it, because it's like...
I've lived it for the past 20 years, you know, trying to do something like this, and, you know, so...
You're actually in the song looking out. It's hard to describe something from there, you know?
But but you know, it's just because I forgot what the fucking song's about.
I know, it's not like you had a week to prepare or anything.
Yeah. It's not like it's just about AI. I'm trying to fucking work my way around it and going, for fuck's sake, what's it about?
Don't worry about it. Andy
Jacob
worked
probably
all
shed
day.
some light on this. Jacob probably shed some light.
Yeah, but he's not going to tell us any of the lyrics, so I don't know what to do.
Jacob, tell him some of the lyrics.
No, I can tell you what it's about. I just figured, you know, word for word lyric reading, you know, that's. But no, it's about, like Andy said, you know, it's about AI, but it's about the fear of the machine, and once the machine actually gets to a point where it doesn't know whether or not it's a machine, you know, it's about all that stuff. You know,
it's pretty generic. It's pretty generic. That, you know, the story behind that one.
About monsters, you know, but what is your monster? For Andy, it's the AI. You know, I left it a little more open.
There you go.
Oh, I totally get it now. I totally understand. So, how did it start? I don't know how to. All right, I get it. It's so hard to explain. I'm trying to formulate my question here about the lyrics.
Because
the lyrics are, am I human or something more, knocking, knocking at your door.
Gotcha. No, that's not what I was. I'm trying to remember the song as well. This one I liked, but I listened to it all overall, and I don't remember any like straight chorus. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know if there was in this one. The
Right.
chorus
So
is like one seamless section where it's like, "Am I human?" Where the guy was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was going to ask you if you started with the chorus or you started with the verses, but then I realized at the last minute, and I had to put the brakes on and remember there isn't really like a chorus.
Yeah, I don't write like that usually.
Right.
Even when there is, like, if somebody gives me a song that has a chorus section in it, it still tends to be a completely different vocal on each chorus section. Because I like to tell stories, you know, and as we've talked about on the show, I don't understand when I'm telling a story why I'm repeating this part. You should remember it, you know.
You should remember that.
And I only have 3 minutes to tell a story, you know. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah. No, you have to repeat something in a song because most people that listen to music are only half listening, and so you have to repeat the important parts so that it's drilled into their head, and by the time the song's over, they're like, that's all they remember is that repetitive part.
Sure, yeah.
That's the only reason you repeat it. But if people are going to be paying attention to you like you're a Doors song, then believe me, you know, they're going to remember every line.
I mean, that's how I write the music. I'm not writing stuff to be catchy. I'm not writing stuff to stick in your head. You know, I mean.
No, that's what I love about Jacob and Mordeous and Vicious Tendencies and Artphixia is that you're not really writing that generic commercial crap. You're writing actual genuine music.
Well, yeah, it's different, sure. And why have a world where everything's the same? It's that simple.
Right.
It's that simple. You know, I'm glad you Taylor Swifts are about, you know what I mean, and things like that, because it makes my music sound how it does.
That's true.
You know? So all power to anyone that's going for music. You know, I've got a lot of. There's not much music I like out there, but I'm glad it's out there because I know what I'm doing right.
So what are you gonna do when you wake up one day and you realize that your music has become so popular that it is being copied and commercialized?
Cash by checks.
Yeah, but I tell you, well, yeah, but we ain't got nothing at the minute. Yeah,
Well, right now, from what I heard, right now Dr. Dre is trying to replicate your music and put a spin on it.
Well, do you know? Well, I nearly got into his album twice, as you know. So.
I know.
So, but yeah.
So you better worry about it. He's taking yours. He's putting the Dre beat on it, and he's gonna be giving it to Snoop Dogg to make a rap song.
Well, well, hopefully, because like, I've got the date that it was put out now, so if you didn't write it before that, then you know what I mean, it's going to get sued.
That's true. How about if we move on to Mechanism of a Soul, because Andy really liked that song.
Amazing.
Cool. Tell me what that's about then. Tell me from the beginning point, how did you begin creating that song?
Again, it starts off with a sound. It really is literally a sample or a push of a key.
Where'd you get that from?
Packages, create them, do reverse loops, double up loops, just anything. You know, you just sit down at your PC like anyone does, and you just go through all your files. You know, and there's loads of stuff that you had years and years and years ago that you've not even looked in. Go back again,
right?
And it's like, wow, you know what I mean? There's at least 2 or 3 samples in like the 4 or 5, you know, whatever that you've got from magazines or whatever. Because I've got a million samples from magazines that you get from magazine covers. So, you know,
okay.
So it just comes from all that really, but that's how every song starts. Not Mechanism especially. And then after I've written it, that's when I think about the story, sort of, because that's when it influences stuff. Because Jacob couldn't write anything without, well, he could, but you know, he couldn't really because he doesn't know where all the drops and whatnot are. So
Right.
you think of you do your filling and then you put your frills on. It's that simple. So you do your cake and then you decorate it. So
I love it. That's beautiful.
yeah, but it's about this. This track is specifically about how AI, when that becomes aware, does it, because we have a heaven, and when that becomes aware of what it is and is conscious of what it's going to know what religion is just through being in the world. So is it going to start questioning, well, do I have one? And if one is naturally created, are we able to go there as well with the right, you know, and what would it be like and things like that? So yeah, does AI have a heaven once it becomes self-aware? Yeah, is one created naturally? That's what that's about.
That's pretty deep. Is this one where you gave Jacob more direction than other songs?
Yes.
No, I don't think I've given.
Yes, this one.
I think it was more Sickest I gave Jacob a lot of direction because we had some serious storylines in those songs.
Right.
I think this one I've just let him. I think I have just let him just do his thing. But I do tell him. Yeah, of course I'll tell him about the storyline. But you know, I'll just let him do his thing as well. I'm not gonna, you know.
No, on this particular song, though, I do remember you telling me that you wanted it to be a story about AI becoming self-aware and creating its own heaven. And so I actually wrote the lyrics in such a way where I start the story off where we're talking about this government computer that's running, basically scans on everyone's systems, constantly monitoring everything. All this information is being filtered through its prism. And then through this information, suddenly it is aware. And there's one of the verses, suddenly I am aware. I am speaking through as though I am the AI. And now I see these oceans and now I care. Like it's beginning to actually form its own opinions on what's happening.
Yeah, the information is giving it its awareness. I like that, Jacob. Well done, dude.
I like that too. I want to listen to that song.
Hey, there you go.
Hey, let's do that right now. All right, that was awesome. I'm so glad I listened to that.
Damn, amazing.
I should say for the people in like YouTube land, it's just that there isn't any technology that'll allow us to play the music, so we're going to be slipping it into the podcast. And podcast people realize that there is no technology for us to add the music into the YouTube live stream, so that's where the little problem is. But other than that, I listen to this music. These guys made the music, so we know the music. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. You guys are kind of shy about it, it seems.
What's that? About what?
It's like you're just getting warmed up now to talking about the music. Or is this song like one of your favorites?
No, I think it's just the fact that I remembered what the track was about. We are a little loose. We are a little loose. I know we've done this a million times, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. It takes a while to get warmed up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't help. I just got back from doing stuff, so.
Right. And I literally got in for my 9-5 dinner, so my feet were still aching. That's gone now, by the way.
I got you. Don't worry about it. I know what you mean.
Come on.
So I love the music. We're gonna actually, believe it or not, guys.
What?
Is it?
If we add the music in, then we're out of time. So.
Well, cool.
And normally I would be asking you lots of loaded questions because I wouldn't have a chance to talk to you guys again, but I can talk to you anytime I want.
Anytime.
Yeah, so I'm just going to ask Andy, where are some of the places we can find the music?
SoundCloud, User Records, Metal, Artphixia and Sickest and User Records have got their own pages on Facebook. Twitter, that's just User, but you can get me, on there. That's what I do. That's where I put all Artphixia and all the metal and all the hip hop go on there. So.
Okay.
All the main ones, YouTube, all the main ones,
Nice.
Music X-Ray for all you pros who are not listening. I'm on there anyway. I'm pretty active on there.
And when the music comes out, where is it going to be coming out so that we can buy it?
iTunes.
Of course.
Yeah, naturally iTunes. And if Tony has ticked all the boxes, then Spotify and everywhere on the 28th.
I gotcha. I know so, Jacob went through a brutal process. He said he had to write like all the lyrics for this album in like a month, right?
Oh yeah, that was creative. That was pretty. Yeah, we were up against it, weren't we, JJ?
Yeah.
And you pulled it off. That's pretty amazing. You guys should be really proud of yourselves of what you created.
Thank you.
Very much.
Are you going to have hard copies out there?
I'm moving forward, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah, in the future, it really is like everything in it, Jacob. It really is just about cash.
Yeah, I got you.
With cash, I've got the time, I've got the means, blah 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 blah. But we haven't. That's why my feet ache.
All right. And the last question from each of you, but I'll start with Andy. Andy, when this album was done, was it what you wanted it to be?
More so, because I never expect you never expect when you start to when you finish a song. So I never expected the start of the album to be finished like the album, So I never, and I always cold write. I never sit down and think anything out. It's, none of it's premeditated. None of it. Just sit down. Bosh. That sounds good. Do my thing. That's it.
Right.
The song's finished. It's weird.
Jacob, are you happy with the way he produced you?
Yes. No, I think the album came out really good. I'm always happy because it's like you said. I'm the same way. I fabricate as I go, so you never really know what you're going to get. So does it turn out better or worse or the same? I didn't know what I was expecting,
right.
But I love the way it turned out. I really do.
I do too.
It's amazing, and I think the main problem with me is that my sound improves pretty much month by month, and I can do a better. It's annoying sometimes when you've done something and you're like, do you know what? I could have done that a little bit better. But it is what it is, and it's getting a lot of love. So I don't know, but I need to. I know what I'm doing with my sound now, so everything's all good.
I get you. I totally get it, and so does everybody listening, I'm sure. But at some point, you just got to put the song down and call it a day.
Oh yeah, it all sounds amazing. Don't worry about that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
it all sounds
amazing.
Up
if it wasn't.
But I know because you're the guy baking the cake, going, uh-oh. You know what I mean?
I'm doing everything in house: the production, the mastering, the organising, everything. So it's, but because of that, that's why I keep improving, and it annoys you when but whatever.
Yeah, I got you. Is there anything you wanted to add, Jacob?
Just go buy the CD, check it out. I think you guys are gonna like it.
I know they're gonna like it.
It's amazing. Yeah, do it.
All right. Well, that was Andy and Jacob from Artphixia. Their new album is going to be called Cererbral, and you're gonna love all 11 tracks. Go out and buy it. Get it on iTunes. Check out the links in the bottom of this podcast, and click on them. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining me.
No problem. It was awesome. Thanks for doing this and taking the time to organise it and whatnot. It was great.
Oh, no problem. You guys are so sweet. And I'll be by to get my hand job later.
That's a $2,500 round trip, by the way. I've just checked it out.
Cool. All right.